Hi everyone, welcome back to another edition of the Velvet Lounge Life, and this is a really super special edition that I have been waiting for to share with all of you for quite a while. And I finally have my last bit of information that I needed. So I am able to give you behind the scenes information about our favorite show right now, Outlander. So yes, there's been a bit of a Droughtlander for all of the right reasons, but I promise you this will be a little bit of a satisfier and satiate that appetite that you have, and also give you information on when the show is coming back on season 6, as well as some other amazing information. And some of it will make us jump with glee, and other information might make us weep a little bit, but it's all in the telling of this wonderful story. So we're going to get right into the nitty-gritty of this, but in the meantime, yes, please subscribe to the channel. Just press the little subscribe button. It is 100% free. And also press the bell notification so that you are the first to know when new information content is published. So without further ado, we have the wonderful, the handsome David Barry, who is an actor that plays Lord Grey. So, okay, some information I am limited on what I am allowed to say, but other information I can totally spill the beans. So if you do not want any spoiler alerts, wait until after February 15th to watch this video. So just save it as one of your videos to watch later. But Lord Grey gave his final bow in season 5. So I know a lot of people were wondering whether he's coming back or not, or if there will be, you know, some sort of other shenanigans going on. But he has definitely finished his tenure with Outlander, and he confirmed it in May of 2020, and it's on his Twitter account, so you can go, like, you know, become one of his tweeting friends. But he did sort of have a little bit of a hint there that not only was his time finished with Outlander, but off the Twitter realm and out into another ether, there is talk about a Lord Grey series. And there has been talk about this for maybe about, I'm going to say, 2.5 seasons ago. And it seems as if it could be getting closer, but who knows? We could wish, we can hope. But looking at actual facts, one of the things you have to think about is, with a series, a drama, as successful as Outlander has been for stars, why on earth would there not be a Lord Grey series to sort of pick up from a certain point and move on? And in that, would you see some of your favorite previous characters? Well, that I'm not going to tell you because you need to read the books. So another super hot thing that's been going on is, of course, unfortunately, due to the sickness, I'm trying not to use the words because then there's all sorts of extra things you have to do to a video, but that's been going around the entire world. Filming had to be postponed, which is the norm. It happened to many, many different shows, whether they be television as well as movies, etc. Even, like, you know, talk shows had to make certain adjustments. And the filming restarted again in January of 2021. And we have to remember that where they pick up with the filming, it is between the years 1773 and 1776. which we all know is the end of the American Revolutionary War. So as I spill the tea here for you, I told you I'd have some other extras added into this video. So it's going to be only about the characters, obviously, of Outlander and their lives. So we have the Sassenach store, which within that store, yes, there's different merchandise type items, as well as there was that lovely smooth whiskey in there, but they have sold out of the whiskey. It averaged approximately $130 a bottle, plus it also came in a attractive gift box, so they're not just like shipping out bottles. Obviously there's different rules, etc., due to liquor laws, etc., about whether or not you can order it in your state or not, etc., but only purchase from the store, because if you do, you are directly supporting the makers, the creators of the Sassenach store, which I believe is partially owned by Sam, but I'm not sure about that, but he is definitely the stake owner in the Sassenach whiskey. So there are other like duplicators out there, and you just want to be careful that you are getting what you actually are paying for and supporting who you think you're actually supporting. So Sam and Graham McTavish have been spending, let's just say, a lot of time together. Talk about two brothers in Scottish arms. So Graham McTavish, as you all hopefully know, played Dougal Mackenzie. He was also, I don't know, these are some like random facts I thought were really interesting, but he was also in the Hobbit trilogy movies. Did you guys know that? But anyway, he and Sam have been spending a lot of time together because they have a new show that is coming on Starz. And the title of the show is Men in Kilts. And what they do is they travel about enjoying life, basically almost everyday life. Obviously, they're doing some traditional British Highland activities in beautiful Scottish locations. I should have said Scottish Highland activities if I didn't say that, sorry. They're talking about basically and showing you what life, food, drink, and just such gorgeous locations. I know we're spoiled by Outlander, but Outlander is filmed in locations to make them look as if they're other locations. These will be genuine Scottish locations, the green hills, the mountains, just everything that you could possibly imagine. And that show will be on Starz starting February 14th. So that is the date of their first episode. And did you guys, this is also a very random fact, so I will be giving you some random facts in here as well. The first episode of Outlander actually aired on my birthday, August 9th. And just to let you guys know, yes, it is very possible that two things can happen this season. I'm not going to tell you what they are immediately, but two super important things, and you will definitely want to stay tuned for that, because the rumor mill is running amok, and I am going to help you sort it out a little bit. But some definite things are season 6 is estimated right now to be 12 episodes because of the worldwide sickness that has gone on. It's possible that that could be changed, but initially it was definitely going to be 12 episodes. The filming was to start, as I said before, and then of course shutdowns occurred. On the set, yes, there are very, strict protocols. I actually have filmed one show, one was a promotional thing and the other was a show. And we had to go through testing every day. You had to be tested before you were cast. You had to wear a mask unless you were on camera. then you would, of course, take your mask off so that you could, portray your role. But they're going through all the same things. So all the artist associations out there are making sure that, these shows have what they need to be safe. So do not worry about that. I am sure that not only are they following the protocols we had to follow, they're probably following more. What else can I tell you right now about that? Oh, super cool is once again, producers of the show, or they will have credit as producers, will be Kat and Sam again. So as you guys should know, hopefully, in the previous season, they did some work behind the scenes, and they will once again be producing behind the scenes. So yes, and I'm just saying the word yes because I know a lot of people are like, will it follow the book exactly? No. Yes, there will be changes. And of course there's going to be changes. If it followed the book exactly, then we would know exactly every single thing that was going to occur. But there are going to be some switches in there. There's going to be, some curveballs and, some attitude adjustments, you guys, which are going to be a little bit surprising. But as usual, high quality, beautiful show, amazing storyline, awesome action, and craziness abound. One of the things that you might see a little bit less of is the sexuality part of it, the sensuality of it. So will there be some of that? Of course, it wouldn't be Outlander without it, but there may be a little bit of a pacifier put on that so that they could really get through certain parts of the series and the stories. So this changed. They actually started shooting in the winter again. So a lot of questions are going to be answered this season. Obviously, modifications taken from the book, as well as I stated before, creative license. So did Claire murder someone? Well, you'll have to tune in to see that, but I will tell you that she is going to be suspected of murdering someone. And of course, in the 1700s, if you're suspected of something, even if you were 5 million miles away, that means that you pretty much did it, and you're a witch, and you're a warlock, and you're a fairy, and all sorts of weird things. So, the masses sort of go wild and storm the Capitol, if you will, with their crazy conspiracy theories and thoughts. But did she actually murder someone will be a question that's answered. Now, we do know that when she had to stay at, excuse my French, the whorehouse, in I think it was 2 previous seasons, she had to defend herself against a rapist, an attacker, a robber, and probably someone who would have left her strangled and killed. So defending herself is different than actual murder. So I will say that that's something that you want to watch out for. Also, Roger is going to finally settle upon a trade, if you will, or a specialty as far as work goes, because if you guys think about it and you remember the previous episodes, he's been basically the jack of like 80 different types of jobs. So he's been out surveying, he's been working on a farm, he's been part of a militia, all sorts of things, because obviously coming from the future into the past, they really didn't have need for a professor or someone who is a super duper specialist in history, except his family that knows about his time travel abilities, obviously knowing what history is something that has helped them out extremely when you think about this whole entire story. So the history that Claire knows, that Bree knows, that Roger knows, has definitely helped them, survive. as well as certain things. You know, yeah, they tried to change certain things, make them better, and it didn't always work. But still, having that knowledge has been very valuable, but it's unfortunately has to be a secret jewel that they keep in their own crown. But the cool thing is with him finding a trade finally, it is one that is going to be super interesting, and I'll just tell you what it is. He's going to be a minister. So he will be ministering the word, if you will. And he's going to have a situation where it is going to be so bizarre. And when I talked about fairies and warlocks and all kind of weird stuff, that kind of comes into play, all that weird superstition that they had back then. And some people still have like these weird thoughts now. And he's going to actually have to go through this ceremony, which actually, it made me giggle. So hopefully it's done in a way that's not too serious, because I think it'll be a really different twist on what he has to do. Also, Bree and Roger have a baby girl. Now, unfortunately, due to the baby girl being born with a defect, they're going to have to go back to the future so that she could get the medical care that she needs to survive. Because in the year 1700, let alone if it was the year 1800 or the early 1900s, she definitely would not have survived. So going back to their time, they are going to be able to get the care that she needs. And remember, in the past, or in the future, I should say, they still have like people who are allies to them. They don't know exactly where they went or what 100% is going on, except for one person who is Claire's best friend and almost like an uncle to her. And they will be able to get the help that they need. And yes, baby Jemmy will be going back with them as well. So something else to be aware of is Jamie has had a lot of jobs. So if you think about it, Roger is sort of following in Jamie's tracks, not exactly on purpose, but because it is what it is. But Jamie will still be an Indian agent, but then unfortunately he'll be a revolutionary soldier, but he is also going to be almost like an agent spy for the Patriots, so for the good side. We hear the word patriots now, if you're listening to what's happened in the United States. Those are not patriots. Those are what we would call traitors, seditionists, and terrorists. True patriots were for all of the people, even those that didn't deserve it. And they wanted the best for everyone, not just their little tiny group. So when people are in our House of Representatives, our Senate, the Congress, etc., fighting for us, I hope they keep that in mind, that there are many more of us true good people out here than there are the few people that were seditionists, traitors, and terrorists. So Jamie is on the good side of being a patriot. And because of his work, obviously things will turn out a certain way. So Lizzie is also someone who is going to have a baby this season or be pregnant. But who is the father? Can you believe there's a baby daddy drama on Outlander with Lizzie of all people? That was incredibly shocking. But the Beardsley brothers and Lizzie might be much more 21st century than they knew, because polyamory comes into play. If you don't know what polyamory is, please Google it and come back to this video. But it is a 1700s affair of the rarest type. Maybe. I actually think that this was going on a lot more than people believed, because you'd have the wife and you'd have all these women working as well on a farm or in a big house or something like that. And once in a while, I do believe there was probably an agreement per se. And yes, so that is something you definitely want to watch out for, and that is going to be very juicy. So what's going to truly bring the house down? Yes, that fire that we've been waiting for. So just briefly, the way that the fire occurs is if you guys recall, in season 5, there was a time traveler named I think it's pronounced Wendigo Donner, and he traveled with Ottertooth and some others to the past to try to right the wrongs that occurred to the American Indians and to warn them of what was coming so that they could hopefully have a different outcome. Obviously, unfortunately, that did not work. So I'm going to call him Wendigo. He has been stuck in the past for quite a while now, and he has been trying to find a way back to the future. However, until he met Claire when she was kidnapped, raped, ravaged, etc., he had no idea that there were other time travelers other than himself and the group that came with him. So when Claire and he got, sort of realized who they were, and they identified each other through an old Beatles song. The Beatles, for you youngsters, are a rock group from the 50s, 60s, and 70s. And when they realized, they could verify that they were both time travelers, she told him, as a way to try to free herself from this horrifically horrid situation, that in order to get back to the future, they had jewels or stones, but they're actually jewels. And that, as well as knowing where the portals are, is how he could get back to the future. So after some time has passed, Claire is going to go through this whole healing situation, and she's also going to be sort of torn. Her and Jamie will go through some things because of what she suffered this season. So you'll see part of season 5 rolling into season 6 because of what happened to her. And this individual is part of what is going to roll into this new season. So what will occur is Wendigo and some of his counterparts will find the ridge. And if you guys also remember, when Jamie, Ian, Fergus, and all the guys rescued Claire, they basically tried to kill everyone that was involved, and they took one person as a prisoner, but I think only Wendigo escaped, but there could have been one or two others that escaped, but he definitely escaped his fate. And now, unfortunately, that he's back, he simply just wants the jewels, and he also wants to know where this portal is. Now remember, Bree and Roger have a baby with a birth defect. They need to get back, so they can't give away their jewels that will allow them to do that. And so what happens is when they come to the ridge, obviously they eventually come as adversaries versus as someone who is, trying to work together, and they end up having this big fight. Ian is there, all these folks are there, and the Wendigo and his folks are trapped inside of the house, this beautiful house that Claire and Jamie have, and in order to sort of wipe them out, using this chemical additive that you use to make matches that Lord Grey had given to Bree, Ian uses that to light the house on fire and burn all of those bad dudes alive. I don't know how bad they are. They really are trying to just get back to the future, but they become bad when they decide that taking and violence is what will solve their issue. So that made them bad. So because of that, what happens is Claire, Ian, I'm not going to tell you who the other person is because you'll be shocked at that. And of course, Jamie and a small coalition end up going back to Scotland. And when they do that, that is when that article is put into the paper because someone has a printing press. hint, hint, that they need to get a hold of in Scotland. And there's an article that says that the two of them perished in this fire, which they did not perish in the fire. Only the bad guys perished in the fire, unless there's a twist that's written into it that is not, of course, in the books. And that is one of the points that people are kind of concerned about. Fans are super concerned about that particular point in the story, because it would be the perfect ending to the Outlander saga for this television drama. It would be Claire and Jamie, Ian, etc. go back to Scotland. Of course, Jamie's sister, her family, etc. are there. And, you know, they kind of seem as if they're going to, you know, establish themselves there and live happily ever after. That is a very good possibility, but there's so much more to the story that there are those of us, from what we feel, that there will be a season 7, and that is possibly the end of the television drama. The thing that I still go back to is, this is so successful, why would you end it? But I know that Sam has been eyeing this 007 James Bond thing. I don't know what, you know, Kat has been doing, and not just them, but you have all the other cast members, you know, what they're doing. Did David Barry, his time end because they're working in secret on the Lord Grey sequel? There's so many questions, and I hope that you guys stick with me when the new season comes out. There might be another special that I have like this, spilling all of the luscious tea. So please do me a favor, once again, subscribe to the channel and give this video a thumbs up. I do have something I want to show you, and I hope that you appreciate it, along with a few more pictures that you might like as well.